Here are 6 ways to make your antagonist reckless. What may feel surprising here is the end goal of this recklessness. Your character isn't meant to be a fool. Your character isn't meant to have no purpose. Your character and her recklessness are justified by a wish to prove that she's existed. And proving that she's existed can be translated in 5 different other manners. Your character may be competing with other characters for resources or a certain position. Now, your character will need these resources. Your character will need this role in order to continue to play. So that's the expression of a recklessness. Your character is here for the game. Your character is here for playing, for having fun, for amusing yourself. But now your character may not be there for the game per se. Character may need resources and a role in order to gain affection, because your character may have this deep feeling of loneliness and she may want to attract other people. Now, these resources, this role, may also be necessary to prove that she's existed, to prove that she is an individual, or in another sense, if she doesn't need to prove that she's an individual, she may need to prove that she has value, and that comes in the form of retribution. The purpose of recklessness is justifying one's existence. The manifestation of recklessness is through all the other 5 aspects: resources, role, fun, affection, retribution. Your character's recklessness appears through her whole existence. Recklessness is in her eyes. Recklessness is in her moves. Recklessness is in her choices. In order to live a reckless life, your character needs resources. Now, these resources will support her way of life. These resources are meant to be used fully, to an extent where they can even be abused. These resources are meant to allow your character to play more, to play deeper, and to play longer. Your character will want to amass lots of resources because she wants to play more. This character wants to have a great experience in life. She wants to live her life fully. She wants to feel alive. That's why she'll use and even maybe deplete her resources. In order to amass these resources, your character will need to attain a certain role, a certain position. Now, this role is also a support of her reckless way of life. This role, this status, will offer her new possibilities, will allow her to access to new relationships. And these two work in conjoint. These two are directly codependent. Your antagonist wants to play more. She wants to play longer, and she wants to play in a more intense way. So she needs more possibilities. In order to gain more possibilities, she needs a diverse array of relationships. The end goal of a reckless character, other than existing, because it may be exposed directly, you may tell, okay, my character wants to exist, and she'll say it, she'll repeat it. But what should be seen is that your character wants to experience life. Your character wants to feel life. Your character wants to be alive more than any other kind of character. That's the core, that's the crux of a reckless character. Recklessness is fun. Recklessness is about enjoying one's existence. Recklessness, at its essence, the origin of your recklessness, is your will to play. Now, fun can come in the form of destruction and in the form of creation. If you want to have a truly balanced character, you need to display how this character enjoys her life by destroying, but also by creating. She needs to destroy elements. She needs to destroy constructs, need to destroy organization, but she also needs to create these very same elements, these very same story elements, in order to have an impact on a world. That's the end goal of your character. She wants to prove her existence. She wants to prove that she has an impact on what she's doing. But at the same time, she wants to enjoy having this impact. This character, the meaning behind these choices, the meaning of recklessness in this dimension is directly translated through fun. Fun creates the meaning of all actions led by your character. And again, they may be destructive in nature or they may be creative in nature. You fix the balance. Recklessness may manifest the wish for affection, and all the actions of your character, if that's the path your character is going through, if it's the way your character is supposed to go through, should lead to this need for affection, to this want for affection. And wherever it's through the acquisition of resources, the fun your character is creating around her, and the entertainment, the enticement your character is creating around her, or the role, the position, the status, and the mission she has acquired, all of them should lead to affection. Now, when it comes to resources and role, they may look quite similar, but they're not. Resources here will lead to a path of maybe generosity, whereas role will lead to a path of maybe responsibility. And these two words, they're key words you can use in order to justify, to create these two sub-paths, these two sub-ways in the general way of affection, because they're a manifestation of the wish for affection that your reckless character has. And your character will pursue this affection recklessly. So through a role, she may need to acquire resources, but she may also need to be a funny character, an enticer type of character. And the same way, you can combine the fun and the resource aspect. Your character acquire resources in order to become a better entertainer, become a better enticer, to become a better leader. All of this, fun may be the most important part of a reckless antagonist, which is looking for affection. Recklessness is the way to justify one's existence, wherever it is through the path of creation, through the path of destruction. In order to justify one's existence, one should do, one should act, one should operate. Again, you define the balance when it comes to destruction and creation both. You define how your character should implement and should embody each of these principles. Your character may destroy in order to save another character, or to save an organization, or to preserve a principle she wants to defend. Your character may create an organization in order to asserve, in order to oppress. Creation and destruction here, when it comes to justifying the existence of a reckless character, are not the end goal. Destruction and creation are only means, they're only tools. The end goal is existence. Now, you decide how your character will be remembered. You decide why your character will be remembered. Will she remembered for destruction? Will she remembered for creation? You decide how she will be remembered. You decide what she's supposed to do, what she's supposed to embody, how she's supposed to act. When it comes to justifying one's existence, the last path, the end path, is the path of retribution. If you decide that your character goes through the way of retribution, you'll need to give her a reason in order to make her relatable. Now, relatability is not the end goal here, because we're creating a reckless character. That's what matters. But every character And here, for antagonists, it's even truer. Every character needs to present a high degree of relatability. Now, this relatability will be expressed in different manner. And in the case of a reckless character, you want to show why her retribution has a meaning, how it happened. So you want to start with 3 crises. In most cases, your stories will contain multiple crises. One crisis is rarely enough to justify one's change, and 3 crises correspond to the most common, to the safest schema. So if you want to implement the change, if you want to plan the evolution of your character, if you want to expose the escalation, maybe the radicalization of your character through her initial state to her final state, which will be the wish to pursue this retribution, you have to explain why through crisis and through progressive escalation of these crises, because you want to create a variation in the rhythm. One of the most effective ways to create this escalation is to expose a betrayal. Now, maybe your character has been betrayed by another character. Maybe she's been betrayed by an organization. But in most cases, your character will have had a promise made to her, and this promise will be broken to some point, which will lead her to retribution. Now, all wraps up when it comes to retribution with this last path. And in order to create a cycle with our resources, think in terms of revenge here. Your character wants retribution, and generally she'll have to face something larger than her, maybe an organization, maybe an individual with more influence. And in order to have a retribution, in order to satisfy her thirst for retribution, she'll need to amass resources. So now we've created a cycle between our 6 paths. If you enjoyed this content and want to know more on this topic, check our video on the 6 surefire ways to create an antagonist.